The fluorescent lights of Valley Mall flickered overhead as 10-year-old Marcus Thompson pressed his small hands against the jewelry store's glass display case. His dark brown eyes were fixed on a single item, a delicate silver necklace with a heart-shaped pendant. Every day after school, he would make this same trip, standing in the exact same spot, just to look at the piece of jewelry that had captured his mother's attention weeks ago. Marcus wasn't like other kids his age who spent their afternoons playing video games or watching TV. Instead, he had a mission. In his worn blue backpack, carefully wrapped in a Superman handkerchief, was a small collection of dollar bills and coins, his life savings of $27. The price tag on the necklace read $40, and those missing $13 felt like a mountain he couldn't climb. "Back again, little man," Sarah, one of the store employees, asked with a gentle smile. She had grown used to seeing the determined young boy over the past 3 months. Her heart melted a little each time she saw him counting and recounting his money. "Yes, ma'am," Marcus replied politely, his fingers nervously playing with the straps of his backpack. "Is the necklace still here?" Sarah nodded, understanding filling her eyes. "It sure is. Would you like to see it up close again?" Marcus's face lit up as Sarah carefully removed the necklace from the display. Under the bright store lights, the silver seemed to dance, and the small heart pendant sparkled just like it had when his mother first saw it. He remembered that day clearly. It was during one of those rare afternoons when his mother had a few hours between her jobs. They were walking through the mall, and she had stopped to look at the jewelry display. Her eyes had lingered on this particular necklace, and for just a moment, Marcus had seen something different in her expression, a glimpse of want, of desire for something pretty just for herself. "It's beautiful," she had whispered, before quickly moving along, saying, "Come on, honey, we need to get to the grocery store before my next shift." That moment had stayed with Marcus. His mother, Angela Thompson, worked 2 jobs, one as a nurse's aide at the local hospital during the day and another as a waitress at Jerry's Diner in the evenings. She rarely bought anything for herself, always making sure Marcus had everything he needed first. As he stood there in the store, Marcus pulled out his money and counted it again. $1 bills, quarters, nickels, and dimes, the product of 3 months of saving every penny he could find. He had given up his weekly allowance, collected bottles for recycling, and even helped Mr. Johnson next door with his garden to earn extra money. 7, 8, 9, he counted under his breath. The total hadn't changed, still $27. Sarah watched him with a mixture of admiration and sadness. She had seen all types of customers in her years at the jewelry store, but this young boy's dedication touched her in a special way. "Your mom must be really special," she said, carefully placing the necklace back in the display case. Marcus nodded, his eyes still fixed on the necklace. "She works really hard. Sometimes I don't see her much because she's always working, but she makes sure I have everything I need. She even helped me with my science project last week, even though she was really tired." The mall was getting busier as the afternoon crowd started flowing in. Outside the store, shoppers hurried past, carrying bags and chatting on phones. But inside, time seemed to move differently as Marcus stood there, lost in thought. "I'll save more," he said firmly, more to himself than to Sarah. "Mom's birthday is in 2 weeks. Maybe I can help more people with their gardens or find more bottles to recycle." As he turned to leave, Sarah called out, "See you tomorrow, Marcus." He gave her a determined smile. "Yes, ma'am. Same time." Walking out of the store, Marcus didn't notice the small crowd gathering near the mall entrance, or the excitement building among the shoppers. He was too focused on his mission, mentally calculating how many more bottles he would need to collect to reach his goal. Little did he know that tomorrow's visit to the jewelry store would be very different from all the others, and his life was about to change in ways he couldn't imagine. The following afternoon was unusually busy at Valley Mall. Marcus walked through the sliding doors at his regular time, 3:30 p.m., clutching his backpack close. Today, he had managed to find $2 more from helping Mrs. Peterson clean her front yard, bringing his total to $29. Still not enough, but closer to his goal. As he made his way toward the jewelry store, something felt different. There were more people than usual, and he could hear excited whispers and see people looking at their phones. Some were even running toward the main entrance, but Marcus paid little attention to the commotion. His mind was focused on the silver necklace waiting in the display case. Sarah was already at her usual spot when Marcus entered the store. Today, Even she seemed distracted, constantly glancing toward the mall's main corridor. "Hi, Marcus," she greeted him, though her eyes kept darting to the growing crowd outside. "Did you hear who's visiting the mall today?" Before Marcus could answer, the excited screams from outside grew louder. Through the store's glass front, you could see people gathering with their phones held high, trying to capture photos of something, or someone you couldn't yet see. "I heard Snoop Dogg is here." A teenage girl squealed as she rushed past the store. "He's doing a surprise visit before his concert tonight." Marcus had heard of Snoop Dogg. His mother sometimes played his songs while cleaning the house on Sunday mornings, dancing and singing along when she thought Marcus wasn't watching. Those rare moments of seeing his mother truly happy were precious to him. Still focused on his mission, Marcus walked to his usual spot by the display case. He pulled out his money and began his daily ritual of counting. 27, 28, 29, he whispered, laying the bills and coins on the glass counter. The commotion outside grew louder, and suddenly the jewelry store's atmosphere changed. The air seemed to crackle with excitement as a tall, lean figure walked in, surrounded by security guards and an entourage. Marcus barely looked up, too absorbed in his counting. Snoop Dogg, wearing his signature gold chains and designer sunglasses, moved through the store, occasionally stopping to look at various pieces of jewelry. People outside pressed their faces against the store windows, phones recording every moment. "What you got there, little man?" a smooth, familiar voice asked. Marcus looked up, startled to find the famous rapper standing right next to him, looking down with genuine curiosity. For a moment, Marcus froze, his mouth slightly open in surprise. I'm saving to buy something, sir," Marcus managed to say, his voice barely above a whisper. Snoop Dogg lowered his sunglasses, his eyes moving from Marcus to the money on the counter, then to the necklace in the display case. "That's a nice piece right there," he said, pointing to the silver necklace. "That what you're saving for?" Marcus nodded, suddenly finding his voice. "It's for my mom. She works really hard, and her birthday is coming up. She liked this necklace, but she never buys anything for herself because she says taking care of me comes first." Sarah, who had been watching the interaction, stepped forward. "Marcus has been coming here every day for 3 months, saving up for that necklace," she added softly. Snoop's expression changed, a mix of surprise and something deeper crossing his face. He took off his sunglasses completely now, looking at Marcus with newfound respect. 3 months, huh? That's some serious dedication, young blood. Tell me more about your mom." As the crowd outside grew larger and phones continued recording through the windows, Marcus began telling Snoop about Angela Thompson. He told him about her 2 jobs, about how she still found time to help with his homework, about her dancing while cleaning on Sundays. With each word, Snoop nodded, his expression growing more thoughtful. Nobody in the store could have predicted what would happen next, a moment that would soon go viral on social media and change both Marcus and his mother's lives forever. As Marcus finished talking, Snoop Dogg reached into his pocket, a decision already made in his mind. The next few minutes would become one of those rare moments when celebrity meets reality and genuine human connection transcends fame and fortune. The jewelry store had become surprisingly quiet despite the chaos outside. Snoop Dogg stood there, looking at Marcus with an expression that showed he was deeply touched by the boy's story. The rapper reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet. But what happened next surprised everyone in the store. "Sarah," Snoop called to the store employee, "let me see that necklace the young man's been saving for." Sarah quickly retrieved the silver necklace from the display case, her hands slightly trembling with excitement. As she held it up, the heart pendant caught the light, sparkling just as it had when Marcus's mother first noticed it. "This is nice," Snoop said, examining the piece carefully. "But you know what? A mother like yours deserves something even more special." He turned to Sarah again. "Show me your best pieces. Everything you got that would make a hardworking mom feel like a queen." Marcus watched in amazement as Sarah began pulling out various pieces of jewelry. There were golden necklaces with precious stones, elegant bracelets, and beautiful earrings. Each piece was more stunning than the last. "Your mom works 2 jobs, right?" Snoop asked Marcus, who nodded silently. "My mama worked hard too, young blood. She raised me right, just like your mama's raising you. Sometimes people don't understand how much sacrifice that takes." The crowd outside had grown even larger, with people pressing against the store windows, recording everything on their phones. But inside, it felt like only Marcus and Snoop existed in their own little bubble of understanding. You know what really gets me? Snoop continued, carefully selecting several pieces of jewelry. You've been coming here every single day, counting your money, not giving up. That's love, little man, real love. Marcus watched as Snoop picked out not just the silver necklace he'd been saving for, but also a beautiful gold bracelet and a pair of matching earrings. The rapper handled each piece with care, as if he was selecting treasures for his own mother. But sir, Marcus said quietly, looking at his small pile of money on the counter, I only have $29. Snoop smiled, placing a gentle hand on Marcus's shoulder. Today's your lucky day, young blood. Sometimes when you put good energy into the world, it comes back to you. Your dedication to your mama. That's the kind of good energy I'm talking about. By now, several phones were live streaming the scene, and social media was already buzzing with the unfolding story. A small boy's 3-month dedication to buying his hard-working mother a birthday gift had touched the heart of one of hip-hop's biggest legends. I'm gonna handle this, Snoop announced, pulling out his credit card. But I want you to do something for me. Marcus looked up at him eagerly. Anything, sir? Keep those $29 you saved. Put it in a bank account. That's your first investment, young man, and promise me you'll never stop showing this kind of love to your mama. Sarah, who had been quietly wiping tears from her eyes, began wrapping the selected pieces in elegant gift boxes. Each one was carefully placed in a signature blue bag from the store. One more thing, Snoop said, pulling out his phone. Let's take a picture together. Your mama might not believe this story without some proof. As they posed for the photo, Marcus still couldn't believe what was happening. The rapper's arm was around his shoulder, both of them smiling widely, with the jewelry store's sparkling display cases in the background. You're doing something beautiful for your mama, Snoop said as he signed the credit card receipt. And now I get to be part of it. That's what life's about, spreading love and helping each other out. The store erupted in applause as Snoop handed the shopping bag to Marcus. People outside were cheering too, many of them recording what would soon become a viral moment of kindness and connection. As Marcus held the bag containing gifts worth more than he could have imagined, he felt overwhelmed with gratitude and joy. His small dream of buying his mother a simple necklace had transformed into something magical, all because he hadn't given up on showing his love for her. But this wasn't the end of the story. What would happen next would touch even more lives and create a ripple effect of kindness throughout their community. The next morning, Marcus woke up to the sound of his mother's voice calling from the living room. It was Sunday, usually their quiet day together before she had to leave for her evening shift at the diner. But today felt different. Marcus, honey, come here please. Angela Thompson called out, her voice filled with a mix of confusion and surprise. When Marcus entered the living room, he found his mother staring at her phone, her eyes wide. The local news was playing on their small TV, and to his amazement, he saw himself and Snoop Dogg on the screen. The footage from the jewelry store had gone viral overnight. Breaking news. Rap legend Snoop Dogg makes young boy's dream come true at Valley Mall, the news anchor announced. 10-year-old Marcus Thompson had been saving for months to buy his hardworking single mother a birthday gift when fate stepped in. Angela looked at her son, tears forming in her eyes. Marcus, is this real? Were you really saving up to buy me a necklace? Before Marcus could answer, his mother's phone started ringing. It was her supervisor at the hospital. Angela, have you seen the news? Everyone here is talking about your son and Snoop Dogg. Even our patients are asking about it. The story had taken on a life of its own. Video clips of Marcus counting his savings and Snoop Dogg's act of kindness had been shared millions of times across social media platforms. People were touched by the young boy's dedication and the rapper's generous response. Local reporters began showing up at their modest apartment complex, hoping to interview the mother and son who had captured hearts across the country. Marcus's school principal called to say that the students wanted to organize a special assembly to celebrate his act of love. But Mom, Marcus said, worried about all the attention, I just wanted to get you something nice for your birthday. I didn't mean for all this to happen. Angela pulled her son close, hugging him tightly. You've already given me the best gift possible, showing me how much you love me. Everything else is just extra blessing. Throughout the day, messages of support poured in from around the world. People were sharing their own stories of maternal love and sacrifice. The hashtag Marcus and Mum started trending, with thousands of people posting about their own hardworking mothers. Jerry's Diner, where Angela worked her evening shifts, suddenly became packed with customers wanting to meet her. The owner, moved by the story, decided to adjust her schedule so she could spend more time with Marcus. The hospital where she worked during the day also took notice. The administration called a meeting to discuss creating more family-friendly schedules for single parents like Angela. Her story had sparked an important conversation about work-life balance for working parents. But the most surprising call came from Snoop Dogg himself. His manager reached out to invite Marcus and Angela to his concert that evening as VIP guests. "You got to be kidding," Angela said, sitting down on their worn couch in disbelief. "Mom, can we go?" Marcus asked excitedly. "You can wear one of the new necklaces." Angela looked at the beautiful blue jewelry store bag that Marcus had kept hidden in his room, waiting for her actual birthday. Inside were gifts worth more than she earned in several months, but their real value lay in the love that had inspired them. As the day continued, their small apartment became a hub of activity. Neighbors dropped by with food and well wishes. Marcus's teachers sent messages praising his character and determination. Local businesses called offering support and gifts. But amid all the chaos and excitement, Marcus noticed something important. His mother was smiling more than he had seen in years. The weight of constantly working and worrying seemed to lift a little from her shoulders. "You know what, sweetie?" she said, pulling him close again. "Sometimes the biggest gifts come in ways we never expect. You taught me that today." As they prepared for the concert that evening, neither Marcus nor Angela could have imagined how their lives would continue to change. The next few days would bring even more surprises, and their story would inspire a movement of kindness that would reach far beyond their small community. The simple act of a boy wanting to buy his mother a birthday gift had snowballed into something much bigger, touching hearts and changing lives in ways no one could have predicted. The arena was packed with thousands of excited fans when Marcus and Angela Thompson arrived for Snoop Dogg's concert. A security guard met them at the VIP entrance, leading them through corridors usually reserved for celebrities and special guests. "I've never been backstage anywhere before," Angela whispered to Marcus, clutching his hand tightly. She was wearing the silver necklace, the one Marcus had originally saved for, and it sparkled under the venue lights. She had insisted on wearing this particular piece, saying it meant the most because it was the one her son had first chosen for her. Backstage was a whirlwind of activity. Crew members rushed around with equipment, dancers practiced their moves in corners, and music thumped through the walls from the opening acts. As they waited in the green room, Marcus couldn't stop grinning. This was so different from their usual Sunday nights, which typically involved his mother getting ready for her evening shift at the diner. "Look who made it!" A familiar voice called out. Snoop Dogg appeared, dressed in his performance outfit, complete with sparkling chains and a designer tracksuit. The young man with the big heart and his queen mother. Angela, usually confident and composed at work, found herself speechless. Snoop approached them with his characteristic smooth stride and gave her a respectful hug. "Your son here taught me something important yesterday," Snoop said, sitting down with them. "He reminded me that real love isn't about big gestures, it's about showing up every day, just like you do for him." Angela wiped tears from her eyes. "I don't know how to thank you for what you did." "No thanks needed," Snoop replied, waving off her gratitude. "But I do have something else for you both." He nodded to his manager, who brought forward an envelope. Inside was a letter from a local community college, offering Angela a full scholarship to their nursing program. "I heard you talking about wanting to become a registered nurse," Snoop explained. "My foundation wants to help make that happen." Marcus watched as his mother covered her mouth in shock. She had always dreamed of advancing her medical career, but couldn't afford the tuition while supporting them both. "And that's not all," Snoop continued. "The hospital where you work heard about this. They're offering you a flexible schedule so you can attend classes. Plus, they're starting a new program for other working parents, inspired by your story." The news was overwhelming. Angela pulled Marcus close, her tears now flowing freely. "All this because my sweet boy wanted to buy me a birthday gift," she said softly. "Sometimes the smallest acts of love create the biggest waves," Snoop responded, standing up as his staff signaled it was almost time for his performance. "Now, you two ready to enjoy the show?" They were led to special seats right near the stage. As the concert began, the energy in the arena was electric. Halfway through his performance, Snoop stopped the music and asked for the spotlight to find Marcus and Angela in the crowd. "I want everyone here to meet two special people," he announced to the cheering audience. "This young man right here showed me what real love looks like, and his mama shows us what real strength is all about." The crowd erupted in applause as Marcus and Angela's faces appeared on the giant screens. People around them reached out to shake their hands, many saying how moved they were by their story. During one of his most famous songs, Snoop invited Marcus onto the stage. The young boy, though nervous at first, found himself swaying to the music alongside his new friend, while his mother watched proudly from her seat, the silver necklace catching the stage lights. As the concert continued, Angela looked at her son with new eyes. Her little boy, who had wanted to buy her a simple necklace, had set in motion events that would change their lives forever. She would no longer have to work two jobs. She could finally pursue her dream of becoming a registered nurse. But more importantly, her son's act of love had touched hearts and inspired others to show kindness in their own ways. The night was more than just a concert. It was the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. And as Marcus danced on stage, his mother's heart swelled with pride, knowing that her son's simple act of love had created ripples of change that would continue to spread far beyond this magical evening. The week following the concert brought changes that neither Marcus nor Angela could have imagined. Their story had touched hearts across the country, and the ripple effects were becoming more apparent with each passing day. Monday morning started differently than usual. When Angela arrived at the hospital for her shift, she was called into the administrator's office. Nervous at first, she was surprised to find several board members waiting to meet her. "Mrs. Thompson," the hospital director began, "your story has inspired us to make some important changes. We're creating the Thompson Family Initiative, a new program to help single parents and our healthcare staff advance their careers." Angela sat there, stunned, as they explained how her situation had opened their eyes to the struggles many of their employees faced. The program would provide flexible schedules, educational support, and childcare assistance to working parents trying to further their education. Meanwhile, at school, Marcus found himself the center of attention, but not in a way that made him uncomfortable. His classmates weren't treating him like a celebrity. Instead, they were sharing their own stories about their hardworking parents. During lunch break, his teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez, pulled him aside. "Marcus, what you did has started something beautiful," she said, showing him a pile of letters on her desk. "Children from other schools have been writing to us, sharing stories about their mothers and fathers. They want to start a program called Kids Who Care to help other children show appreciation for their parents." At Jerry's Diner, where Angela usually worked her evening shift, the owner had transformed her story into action. He announced a new policy allowing employees with children to have priority in choosing their shifts. The regular customers, who had grown to love Angela over the years, started a community fund to help other working parents in similar situations. Local businesses began reaching out. A bank offered to help Marcus set up a special savings account using his famous $29 as the first deposit. They wanted to teach other children about the importance of saving money and helping their families. But the most touching responses came from ordinary people. Letters and emails poured in from across the country, many containing similar stories of children's love for their parents and parents' sacrifices for their children. One afternoon, as Angela sat at their kitchen table looking through college brochures, something she never thought she'd be doing, she found Marcus quietly watching her. "Mom," he said, "are you happy?" Angela looked up, tears forming in her eyes. "Sweetheart, I've always been happy because I have you. But now," she paused, touching the silver necklace she hadn't taken off since the concert, "now I feel like I can breathe, like we both can dream bigger." The local news station asked to do a follow-up story, but this time focusing on how their story had inspired community change. They filmed at the hospital where Angela worked, showing the new family-friendly policies being implemented. They interviewed other working parents who were benefiting from the changes their story had inspired. Even Snoop Dogg kept in touch. His foundation worked with the community college to expand the scholarship program, helping other working parents pursue their education. He occasionally sent messages checking on Marcus and Angela's progress, becoming an unexpected mentor to the young boy. One evening, as they sat on their apartment balcony watching the sunset, something they rarely had time to do before, Angela noticed something different about Marcus. He seemed taller somehow, more confident. You know, she said, pulling him close, what you did wasn't just about buying a necklace. You showed people what love looks like in action. You reminded everyone that sometimes the smallest gestures can have the biggest impact. Marcus smiled, leaning against his mother. I just wanted to make you happy, Mom. You always have, baby, she replied, long before any of this happened. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting orange and purple streaks across the sky, mother and son sat in comfortable silence. Their lives had changed dramatically in just a few days, but the most important thing, their love for each other, remained exactly the same. The story of a boy's determination to buy his mother a birthday gift had transformed into something much larger, a movement of kindness, understanding, and community support. But for Marcus and Angela, sitting together on their balcony, it was still just about a mother and son, and the love that had started it all. 1 month after the jewelry store incident, Angela's birthday finally arrived. Despite all the changes in their lives, Marcus was determined to make this day special in his own way. He woke up early that morning, before the sun had risen. With skills he had learned from watching his mother all these years, he carefully made breakfast, slightly burned toast, scrambled eggs, and fresh orange juice. He arranged everything on their best tray, adding a small vase with flowers he had bought from the corner store the day before with his own money. Happy birthday, Mom, Marcus called out, carefully carrying the tray into her bedroom. Angela sat up in bed, already wearing the silver necklace that had started their incredible journey. But today, she would receive something even more precious than jewelry. I have something for you, Marcus said, reaching under his bed for a handmade book he had been working on secretly. The cover read, Why My Mom is My Hero in carefully drawn letters, decorated with glitter and stickers. Inside, Marcus had collected stories and messages from people whose lives Angela had touched over the years. There were notes from her patients at the hospital, sharing how her gentle care had helped them through difficult times. The regular customers from Jerry's diner had written about her kind smile and encouraging words. His teachers wrote about her dedication to his education despite her exhausting schedule. Oh, Marcus, Angela whispered, turning the pages slowly, tears falling onto the paper. But the morning was just beginning. Outside their apartment, a surprise was taking shape. The community had come together to celebrate the woman whose story had inspired so many. When Angela opened their front door to get the newspaper, she found their entire corridor decorated with balloons and flowers. A banner stretched across the hallway reading, Happy Birthday to a Supermom. Throughout the day, people dropped by with gifts and well wishes. The hospital staff had organized a special lunch in her honor. Her nursing school acceptance letter had been framed by her future classmates. Jerry's diner customers had pitched in to buy her a new laptop for her studies. Even Snoop Dogg hadn't forgotten. A video message arrived on Angela's phone. Happy birthday to one strong mama. Keep inspiring us all. Your son showed the world what real love looks like, but he learned it from you first. But the biggest surprise came from Marcus himself. In the evening, when Angela thought the celebrations were over, he led her to their small living room. There, set up on their old TV, was a video he had been working on for weeks. It started with Marcus speaking directly to the camera. Mom, remember all those times you thought I was sleeping when you came home late from work? I wasn't. I saw you checking my homework, fixing my clothes for school, and sometimes just watching me sleep with tired but loving eyes. This is what I saw. The video showed clips Marcus had secretly recorded over the past month. Angela dancing while cleaning on Sundays, helping elderly patients at the hospital, studying late at night for her upcoming nursing classes, and all the small moments that made her extraordinary in her son's eyes. I may have saved up for a necklace, Marcus's voice continued over the footage, but you've been saving up love for me my whole life. Happy birthday, Mom. Angela pulled Marcus into a tight hug, both of them crying now. The silver necklace around her neck caught the light, but its sparkle couldn't match the shine in her eyes. You know what's funny? She said, wiping her tears. All these amazing things have happened. The scholarships, the community support, even meeting Snoop Dogg. But this right here, this video you made, means more than all of that. As they sat together on their couch, sharing a birthday cake baked by their neighbors, Angela realized something important. Their story had touched thousands of lives and inspired changes in their community, but the greatest change was in how they saw themselves and each other. The boy who had counted coins in a jewelry store was now a symbol of pure love and determination, and the mother who had worked 2 jobs to make ends meet was now recognized as the hero she had always been. This birthday marked not just another year in Angela's life, but the beginning of a new chapter for both of them. As the evening wound down, mother and son sat quietly together, watching the sun set on a day that neither would ever forget. 1 year had passed since the day Marcus entered the jewelry store with his $29. On a bright spring morning, he and Angela stood in front of a large audience at Valley Mall's central courtyard. The occasion? The opening of the Thompson Family Resource Center, a place dedicated to helping working parents and their children. Angela, now halfway through her nursing program and wearing her cherished silver necklace, stepped up to the microphone. She looked different now, more confident, less tired. Working 1 job instead of 2 while attending school had given her time to breathe, to dream, and most importantly, to spend time with Marcus. "A year ago," she began, "my son taught all of us something important about love. He showed us that even the smallest actions, done with pure intentions, can change lives. Today, we're turning that lesson into something permanent." The Resource Center, funded through a partnership between Snoop Dogg's foundation and local businesses, would provide after-school care for children of working parents, tutoring services, career counseling, and financial education. The jewelry store where it all began had donated a space within the mall. Sarah, the jewelry store employee who had watched Marcus count his money day after day, was now the center's director. "Every day, we'll remind children that their love matters," she said during her speech. "And we'll show parents that they're not alone." Marcus, now 11, had his own special role. He had started a program called Kids Who Care, where children could learn about saving money and finding ways to show appreciation for their parents. His original $29, framed on the center's wall, served as inspiration. The most touching moment came when families began sharing their own stories. A single father spoke about how the hospital's new family-friendly policies had allowed him to return to school. A young girl described how Marcus's story had inspired her to help her own mother. The ripples of kindness continued to spread. Snoop Dogg, though unable to attend in person, sent a video message. "What started with a young man's love for his mama has grown into something beautiful. This center ain't just about helping people, it's about showing love in action. Keep spreading that light, young blood." Later that afternoon, as Marcus and Angela walked through the center, they stopped at a wall filled with photographs. There was the famous picture from the jewelry store, Marcus and Snoop together, Angela at her first day of nursing school, and countless others showing how their story had touched the community. "You know what's amazing?" Angela said, adjusting her necklace, a habit she had developed over the past year. "None of this would have happened if you hadn't been so determined to buy me a birthday gift." Marcus smiled, looking around at the busy center. Children were already using the study areas, parents were meeting with career counselors, and the whole place buzzed with hope and possibility. "But Mom," he replied, "the best part isn't all of this. It's that I get to see you more now, and you're not so tired anymore." Angela hugged her son tightly. Her life had changed dramatically. 1 job instead of 2, pursuing her dream of becoming a registered nurse, and most importantly, more time with Marcus. But she knew that the real miracle wasn't in the grand gestures or the community support. It was in the love that had started it all. As they prepared to leave the center that evening, a small boy approached Marcus. "Is it true that you saved up money to buy your mom a necklace?" he asked shyly. "Yes," Marcus replied. "Do you want to do something special for your mom too?" The boy nodded eagerly, and Marcus led him to the Kids Who Care corner, where a new journey of love and appreciation would begin. Standing in the doorway, watching her son pass on his legacy of love to another child, Angela touched her necklace one last time. The silver heart pendant caught the light, but its sparkle was nothing compared to the light of love and hope that now filled their lives and the lives of countless others. Their story had come full circle. What began with a boy's love for his mother had grown into a movement that would continue to touch lives for years to come. And somewhere in the city, Snoop Dogg smiled, knowing that sometimes the greatest changes start with the smallest acts of love. The end.